So how's it going? I just thought I would record this video here to talk a little bit about different subjects here because I'm noticing that with the media that things are very one-dimensional. I've cut off my TV. I've gotten rid of my smartphone. I just have this old-fashioned flip phone. Most time it's not charged just because I don't want to get my thoughts corrupted. So the question I'm considering tonight is the complexity of race and culture. Because anytime in history that we create a them, horrific things have been done. That's whether you're talking about Nazi Germany, um, that's whether you're talking about the Greeks that came up with the word barbarian, anything that was non-Greek. Psychologists have said that even in New York City, if we can create another, then you can have thousands of people that can be bystanders and they can have apathy. So um, I just thought one day I would introduce myself to my class, and I'll just do this very quickly. So my race is complex. How would you describe me? I think typically they say, well, Dr. Hollowell, you're one of the 30 African Americans that have a PhD in finance in the world. And so that's simplistic. Um, I think the complexity of it is I'm actually 75% European, 12.5% Choctaw, which is the break off of the Cherokee Nation, and 12.5% African American, West African specifically. So, what is the breakdown? So, you've got my Irish grandmother that was second generation, and she came here in the 40s and she built a real estate empire. That was incredible because at that time she couldn't even own a check register. So, if you see my light color eyes, that's coming from the black Irish. And if I ever get a temper, it's probably coming from her because she was definitely a pistol on that side. So, the classic immigrant work ethic where you would go over to her house and ask her, even when she had her wealth, for milk, and then she would fill it up half with water. On the other side, um, for my dad, actually, we had a very large farm in Mississippi, and I would be lying to you if I would say that that was the case because actually it was English. Hollowell is an English name. It's from the village of Holloway. And yes, my mom used to call me Lord Byron, not in a good way, but that is also English. But I've repented if you're thinking that that's my namesake. I don't think I have any sort of resemblance towards Lord Byron. But yeah, so going back to my English relative, so yes, in Mississippi, he wasn't just a farm holder, but the truth was that he was a plantation owner. And just like Jefferson, he had these slaves, and one was a Choctaw, and it wasn't just his slave, he was actually in love with her. And she was in love with him, but there was no legalized marriage. So their son, the oldest of 9 boys that she had, um, went to World War I, and he proudly wrote on there, even though he was half English and half Choctaw, keeping in mind that the Choctaw, they broke away from the Cherokee, and they were part of the tribes that never went, Native American tribes that never went to the West. They didn't go on the Trail of Tears. They just didn't think that that would be a good idea. Perhaps they had foresight. I don't know. They were being rebellious. I don't know how to describe it. But so here you have my grandfather, and he puts down African American. So the 9 Hollowell boys that were half Choctaw and half English married the darkest person they could find, and that was from the Phillips. And they were from what I understand, was from Gambia. And they were Hollowells. They were known as being immensely talented and also very generous. And so what they would do is they had the first telephone in the neighborhood, and they would let other people use it. They also owned the store. They also had the land, and so they donated it so that their children could also be educated. And I remember, I think there were 7 men that went to the Board of Education demanding, requesting, even asking that their children be educated. And it was interesting on the census in 1920-ish. The Hollowells were described as literate. So I get all this by heritage. And so I don't even really know how you would describe me. Would you call me just pluralistic? Would you just call me human? 75% European. I really don't like the English part because I know that little island dominated the whole world and was very alpha male. I've met some Gambians and they don't play. They call it Gambia with the big G, but I gotta think that it's my Irish grandmother that's the reason why I got so much fire because from what I heard, in Ireland, you'd have grandma against grandma, mom against mom, dad against dad, 3-year old versus 3-year old, and then yeah, you had the pit bulls and those mosh pits. So that's the complexity of race. And so when I see people, I really just see my brothers and my sisters. Anytime that you circle me out, I circle myself back in. And I don't know, that's just off the top of the dome. I don't know if that makes any sense, but it's my identity, and I'm proud of it.